So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
And may I get a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right. It doesn't look like we have any visitors because that's our police representative. All right, so we'll move right into our old business with our streetscape project. Sit down.
Hello.
Our most exciting thing.
So the project has a light standard selection now,
Mhm.
based on our last discussion.
Right.
Old Orchard lighting. What we have in Old Orchard is an acceptable light standard for the Crossroads business district as well. And the Lumnic Ancestra, Urban Ancestra is the standard. And it's there, they indicated the AT10, that is a 16-foot post. And there's a cross section available on the spec sheet.
Mhm.
So it's the one in the middle. And it's a single luminaire. It's a tall post. And like Fran and I discussed and confirmed, the brackets for banners as well as receptacles are available. So receptacles is a little bit of a sometimes can be a challenge because that opens it up for electric use for outside. And so I would recommend doing it, but maybe under policy to be developed also for it, to outline the uses, what the uses can be for it. This is likely going to be on the city's account to pay for the electricity.
So no Tesla charging on it. I mean, I just want to be clear.
Right.
Are you figuring out how close it is to your parking lot?
Figure out right now, trying to. Long.
Yeah, that's gonna be tall, so it's gonna be on the top.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be easily
It's good
accessible.
for lighting across the
Festoon lighting,
street.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
that's good. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the Delmar Loop area, we had requests from the businesses to utilize it for their storefronts as well. It can be done certainly, but under a certain, like, okay, this is our standard, this is how it's allowed. The one challenge, you've seen the strict map before, the consultant indicated that, I can roll this out and we can look at it, discuss it. The south side is a bit of a challenge near Elm in terms of available width for lighting. We're requesting it on both sides. And so initially it was only on the north side. As you know, most of the Amarin lights are currently on the north side. They are going to go away. And so we can easily replace those and call it a project. But what we really wanted for the district, for our corridor, is lighted from both sides and maybe in a staggered fashion. And so we don't know for sure. It hasn't gotten into design yet. But probably the south side near here will require some more delicate design in terms of maintaining the sidewalk width for Americans with Disabilities Act compliance, as well as still being able to provide lighting from the south side.
So are you saying that maybe there may have to be a little bit of a bump out in between parking spaces to house the light or half of it, so there's enough width behind
That
it
is
between
a
them?
good possibility, yeah.
Okay.
There are some awnings and such.
Oh, yeah.
Also, and so there is some proximity issues due to that as well. And so it's going to also depend on, because the county has laid this out already. In the parking areas, I think they can live with that, not in the driving lanes. And so if it's too narrow here, we're probably going to be limited as to what we can do. Because, there's a structure here, there's an awning, I believe, this area. And then there's a curb that cannot move, and there is a driving lane that also needs to be placed here. So there's not available room. However, we can lay it out so that this area.
So that's the gap area where it goes like this, one here, one there.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
there. So
exactly.
that becomes the gap.
Right, right.
Okay.
A smart design
Yeah.
like that could really help here. And so initially, we thought that we would have six lights just on the north side. So with the staggered layout, we're probably gonna double. Well, staggered doesn't necessarily double the number, but I don't think six, I don't think six in a staggered fashion across the corridor is gonna be enough. We're probably gonna hit about.
It'll be 8 or 9.
So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think we can space that out really well if we just deal with that gap. Like,
Right.
you've got this space
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
And then we've got the gap and no one has an awning beyond that.
Right.
Right.
There's no power, so I had to put that in the street.
Well, they
That's
have,
this.
they have a street light somewhere in here. There's one street light somewhere in here, right?
No, there's
there-
nothing on,
no.
there's
I
nothing
thought
on the
there
south
was
side.
one.
Further down, I think.
There's one on this pole, maybe.
Right.
Right.
Oh, it's on the
But
pole.
that's-
Okay,
That's,
so it is
this
a one
property.
there. Got it.
and there's one at the very corner, but I don't know if that's a MoDOT light or if is that something that will change right at that intersection?
Well, we know there's,
Where that triangle is?
This here. Oh,
There's
Yeah,
an
this might
overhead light
change.
right in there,
okay.
but you went on nothing beyond the other side of Elm, right?
Are we
Right.
doing the four corners there too? Are we doing
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those for them? Okay, so we
Yeah,
need
just-
more than 8 and 9, because we'll have at least 3 up there, right?
Is the district limit somewhere out here?
That's
Beyond.
Just past
no,
Schnucks, so
just
it
past
gets
Schnucks,
one
yeah.
more building down.
But the project scope, as you have imagined it, did it always include this side as well, or
No.
no?
No, it stopped at
Okay.
Elm
Mhm.
originally.
But I agree with lighting up the intersection. Generally, I can ask, the agencies want lights on their signal posts
Mhm.
normally, at least one across from each other, two that way. But I'm not sure if the county is doing that. MoDOT does it. But this is a county intersection, so I can inquire about that. So that will provide some lighting at the intersection, but we can always enhance with another light post or two on this side as well. So in terms of the consultants, I asked the question, hey, you gave us a proposal already for one side of the street to be designed. Now we want it on both sides. Does it change the cost? They didn't know. But as we get, well, maybe we're at that stage now to approve that consultant agreement for the design. We need to know that for sure, and I can ask that question for this side as well. It may add some design features because they will need to cross the intersection now with the power to connect to this side. But it's the time to do it if we want it now.
Is there a budget to just keep moving it down, or is that not?
I don't believe so. Well, county's project stops here,
Okay, so that's where it stops.
and so yeah.
If
And
we
so,
went beyond that. Sure.
so that's a good question to provide provisions for that. And so if there's more power needed in terms of the conduit size and the wire size and all that, if we want to expand, allow for it now for a future expansion is another good point. I can also inquire about that.
Okay,
And that wouldn't be another design added hours or anything like that. It's just a different selection of the conduit and the wire probably.
I think it'd be really nice for Schnucks to have that feel that goes right at least to the end of their parking lot and it comes up. I think that would enhance their entryway right there and look really hometowny.
Right. Yeah, they haven't probably studied
Yeah.
that part much. Yeah, it's just the definition here is much better with the businesses lined up on both sides of the corridor. Here, it's more like an open area. I think even the county sidewalk is a kind of a hit and a miss. Sometimes there's a swale between the sidewalk and the street, and sometimes you don't know where you need to even walk.
well, and I know that people going into, BP, into the gas station, go all the way along there. It's not even like this driveway and this driveway, they just go.
Right. All open area.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to
Okay.
speculate, but future redevelopment here would,
Go ahead and speculate.
you know, access management would be considered for something like
Yeah.
that. Both we would consider an L
Yeah,
and the county would consider consolidating those accesses and making them more channeled and more traffic safe as
that would
well.
be great.
So, this is the latest that I got from the consultant, along with the selection of the design.
And then on the light poles, you said it'd be configured for the banners, but that also allows for the hanging.
Hanging plants is the thing I selfishly want the
Yeah.
most.
So like one light pole can have banners and then, or like number one can have banners, a couple can have plants and another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can always do it that way. It's just that
Each have everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Okay.
look at this, because we can have it all
Yeah.
on each
Oh,
one.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking right at it and I'm.
When can you say that? We can have it all.
No, I thought that'd be great because the planters soften it. The banner kind of makes it personalized. We give it a brand.
And having the flowers up gives us more space on the sidewalk.
Well, yeah, because we won't have,
Right.
we won't be able to have.
The only downside is someone's gotta go and water them, you know?
But we're moving citywide more to the hanging baskets rather than the stationary planters, so we've got the equipment for it.
Good. I just didn't know if you had the time.
Those have water reservoirs in them, so you don't need somebody out there watering as often, so it's a
Oh,
resource.
so really smart setups.
Yes.
I like those. I love the idea that we can do the cross lighting if we want. We leave all the options open for the signs, for the plantings. They're up high enough that no kids aren't messing with them or they look historic
right.
and they match Old Orchard.
Mhm.
The height, if there is a need for a higher
No.
wall for the baskets and the banners to be
Right.
together. So I can make sure that,
This is perfect height.
right, and that's the, is that the?
That's Old Orchard, that's what, I took
Okay.
Is that
I took
16
that
feet?
Sunday. I don't know how many feet it is, but that's what's in
It's
Old
perfect
Orchard
because you
now.
get, and you
Yeah,
can
well-
get everything underneath it, bikes, you know, people.
The baskets are not that too low, right? You can
No,
reach.
no,
I
that's
couldn't reach
perfect.
them.
Okay,
No, they're perfect.
okay,
I couldn't reach. but-
okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it.
So one of the things that we're making it actually easier for the consultant with this is that we've already, well, I want to put words, but if we made a selection already, it was in their proposal to give us 3 options and select from that. We can take that out and negotiate that further down, that cost proposal. And
So-
so,
Any reason why we wouldn't pick this? The only question I have on it is the overhangs, you know, they shoot down on the street. I've seen the insides of some of these where they have like, they have this with mirrors that shoot down onto the sidewalk in the street. I don't really have a problem with it because I'm not open at night or whatever, but you may not want that shooting right into your business, you know, or something like that, or whatever it may be. So it looks weird when they put the black, you know, side on it sometimes to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Is there a way just to have it go to the street if you
Yeah.
needed it, or what are the options?
yeah, I think there is LEDs available to do it within the luminaire,
Okay,
but I need to make sure because some of them are set already. Are they adjustable? We certainly don't want to shield that way, like you.
we have that right now on these poles on Rock Hill Road at Kirkham. The houses got upset about, so there's like black tape
Yeah,
around the sides of them and they look like crap.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to stop
Yeah.
the noise of the light coming into their
Right.
yards. So it just looks like an after, like, ugh,
Yes,
and then it'll peel off and
Yeah.
not work right and look horrible later.
No, in this one, we should be able to provide that.
Control
out
it
of the-
inside.
Control it out of the luminaire, yeah.
On my side, I don't care what it does. I just don't know how it affects everybody else, the
Yeah.
bookstore,
I'll have to walk by and look, cause I don't really. But
And-
it looks really ugly when they put the black on the
Yeah.
outside.
But
Looks like
as
someone put
far as
electrical
how the
tape.
light shines, I mean, you want light on the sidewalk.
I just didn't know, like, sometimes you have really cool lighting on your
Yeah.
building and stuff, and it's got a mood to it, and all of a sudden, it's
Yeah.
just a floodlight on it.
Another important item, what we can go into as the design progresses will be the color of the lights.
Hmm.
And so in the Delmar Loop area, there was a bit of a, we were not, it wasn't easy to make the decision. The businesses wanted the softer lights, the city wanted the little more like whiter lights. And so what's the good balance between the two? I think the Kelvins, they're measured by Kelvins, 3000 Kelvin, 4000. As you go up, it gets whiter. As you go down, it gets more softer. And so highway engineers, we want the more lights. And so, better illumination, but it's not always the best choice for the businesses. And so makes for a very sterile looking environment.
That's what I was gonna say. If we Delmar may have a little bit more issue with some crime and they need more bright lights for things. We could probably get away with more warm lighting and do really well and make it feel.
Whatever's the equivalent to what they're doing in Old Orchard.
Yeah.
Doing in
Okay.
Web Street. Would make more sense.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
give them all the same.
Consistent.
And we want extra bulbs that can turn into disco bulbs. It changes everything to red for Cardinals games, blue for the Blues, you know what I mean?
You said you can have it all, you really meant to.
I mean, let's get this district going, you know?
Sunny color for the color cloudy days is.
So our two towers in the Spanish building, I have a remote and I can change the lighting in the towers just to kind of have fun with it. So I always thought that'd be kind of fun to have.
Eden does that too.
Yeah, they light up
They
their
light
tower. It looks so cool at night.
Can I ask, are these the same as the ones that are coming up from up Elm?
I believe,
Yes?
the
No?
Elm lights, I believe.
I don't think so.
No,
Oh, they don't
the
have-
ones that they're coming up from Elm look more,
They're different.
yeah, they're
They're
different.
not gonna flash.
They got a base more like this.
And I noticed one thing. Can I borrow your sheet for 1 second? Is there any way, or am I pushing my luck? Central West End does this really, really well. Could we do the double tiers in the corners of this? Because the Central West End has the entrance to Euclid with the beautiful kind of cool lighting. The double ones look really neat when you do them right in those four corners. That double-sided one.
At the
Yes,
intersection.
and then go
yeah.
down to the singles as you go
Yeah.
through.
And you probably want double arms like that, across from each other, right?
Yes.
So
it looks-
staggered,
yep.
Not, okay.
It would look really cool.
Makes for like a gate.
It's like a welcome to Webster.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
we had-
discuss the intersection with the
Yeah.
county to see where.
I mean, I'm just happy to have period lighting or like old fashioned lighting. But if we could have a little bit grander entrance, that would be cool.
Right,
I could see two on this end, like it is going into Webster.
Yeah, if
As
nothing
opposed to
else
the,
there.
yeah, as opposed to two on the Elms, on the Elm and the BP side.
If we could have the two big ones
Yeah.
here, or if we could have two and two, if they want one there, and there.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it looks like it's going that way, going this
Yeah.
way, whatever they go into.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
So the softer lighting that you guys are talking about, are you talking about down here? In this area?
Yeah,
the-
through there, the corner would have to have brighter light because that's
An
a busier
intersection.
intersection.
Yeah,
But lighter whites where you walk through.
Where you come through.
the softer lights, and then the
And
brighter
just-
lights going down through here.
No,
No, the
no.
bright lights at the intersection, then the softer lights through the district.
Yep. Because we're
Yeah.
probably gonna have more light poles than we did before. And if we do cross lighting above it, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
gonna, and if we do on tops of the buildings down the road, it's a lot of light.
My only concern would be this area right here is usually always dark on this side of the street, and it's just, I mean, obviously back
Yeah,
down here.
because
but-
we have no lights there now.
Correct, and so it's usually always dark right there.
Well, the good news is
But now
this
we-
building hasn't had any light for a long, long time and it's gonna be lit up. We'll force Jeff to put lights on his building
My-
because he's
my
an
building-
asshole.
my-
And if he doesn't want it,
That building's lit up. every
you lit
day.
up, yeah, you've
I
got
have
lights.
LEDs all around the building. So this is, there's 6 LEDs on the front, there's 4 on the back.
Yeah, so I think if
Stagger the
that,
lighting.
yeah, if we stagger them here, we'll get a couple here, you know what I mean?
And then,
And then would you put the brighter lights, so you'd put the brighter lights, sorry, on
Sure.
both sides of here?
If they want brighter lights, if you put too bright of a light, you
That's-
start
yeah,
flooding
that'd
these
be a problem for
residents.
these people.
Yeah, they're gonna have a little bit of an issue probably, and it won't be super nice for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
Cause
definitely-
you have no light right now.
Yeah.
You're
no,
very
I know.
little, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's doable for sure. For the lighter, the softer lighting that you're talking about. I think it's great to have brighter lights right here,
Yeah,
because this has
yep.
always kind of been an issue right here for lighting.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just thinking now on here. Yeah. Okay, I was just kind of curious to see what you guys were thinking about the lighting situation. Cool.
All right,
Yeah.
so how soon till it's done?
Is, so probably the corners,
Yes, yes.
intersections will not be lighted. I mean, there will be lights in the main line,
Yeah.
on the main line. And so there are two, in this intersection we already addressed. These intersections will not have any additional lights other than whatever coincides.
Yeah.
Those locations, but we can, I think the spacing, uniform spacing is a quality to have, but wherever it can be adjusted, that's also possible.
So once you submit this, they'll come back to us with a plan for where these lights can go.
Yes, so the one item of approval now that will be needed is an approval of this engineers, CDG engineers that works for the county. Fee proposal to do this for the city of West Groves. They initially gave us an estimated cost for that of about $35,000. And so we'll bring these other items to their attention and see if that cost changes. And then the sooner action that we need in this is to execute that agreement and return it to the engineers so that they start their work and match their schedule with that to the county's roadway project schedule for the design and everything to be turned into MoDOT at the same time. And MoDOT is the overseer of this project and get into construction documents preparation from there to prepare the project for construction.
Great.
So it's really 3-layered, Webster County and the.
so we're
Yes.
still on the same timeline now, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, so execute the design agreement is our next. And I can communicate, we don't have to wait for meetings, I can communicate with yourself and Fran and a copy. And so the project will need a council approval because it's more than $25,000 the agreement cost. And I think at that point we can also adjust the budget because I don't think the design of this project is in our budget yet. So that will be a discussion with the district in terms of what we can do in terms of cost share and such. So what I can say is I believe $370,000 is in our budget for fiscal year 27 for this project. But there is also a $300,000 that the county is expecting us to pay because that was the initial agreement for their project. So I think if this $300,000 is accounted for, that $370,000, we will then need more money for our own project construction. So this project that we're doing is all on us. And so the county is letting us do it with their project, but they are not receiving any grant share for it. For their project, they're receiving grant share. And we're helping them with the local share on that per our agreements. But then we need to come up with the cost of our project in total to pay for that as we get into construction. I believe the $370,000 will not be sufficient. We will need to supplement it.
Is the 300,000 and the 370 two separate dollar amounts, or is the 300,000 of that there, and we have 70,000 left for our
Yes.
project?
The second, the latter one.
So we need more than $70,000, what you're saying.
Correct.
And did I read correctly that we may have budget shortfalls?
So yes, we will likely next month approve a budget with an operating deficit for this fiscal year. Having said that, that is really operating as opposed to, it's a council decision, so I can't commit to anything. But we do have some funding set aside for project-related things.
Okay.
And I'm almost 99.9% certain city manager understands this is coming forward. Number of us have now been council liaisons during the 20-year odyssey of
And
this
we've got this
project, so
one-
I
we've got this
don't,
one window.
yeah, I don't
Bring it
think
in.
anyone, it's not gonna come as a surprise to anyone that there's
Okay.
gonna be a little bit more money involved here.
And so of the monies beyond this, I mean, what portion do we cover? That we have to give money to county for?
Our design agreement is all on us, the $35,000. And then the construction cost will be all on us, as well later on. So, 10 lights, let's say 10 lights,
Okay.
$20,000 a light.
They're $20,000?
I mean.
No,
the
no, I
light-
just didn't know.
Light is not, everything that is related to
Got
the
it.
lights and all
Got it.
that. And so, we can assume, that as the construction cost and, so, all that will be on us. And
But-
then we pay for the $300,000 for the county project.
The lighting and the plan are on us. What other items do we have? The bump outs, do we like,
No,
No.
that's part of the 300
So-
that we
yeah, and-
contribute, okay.
yeah.
and when we do the bump outs, and I'm sorry if I'm late on this, is I've noticed really, really beautiful concrete urns that they're doing on the bump outs a lot with plants in them. It stops cars from, winding in, but it gives an element of just really pretty.
Yeah.
Do we have anything on our bump outs at all? A bench, a chair, are they just bump outs?
No street furniture, just bump outs. But they can be planted, but they're planted in at the ground level. And so they don't let us do it more than 3 feet tall, above grade.
For a planter or for a plant that you put in there?
Plant that we plant there. Yeah.
Would it be in a pot or in dirt?
Pot is an option. Currently, it's not in the plan, but that can be an option. We haven't asked the county about pots. So they don't like the pots along the sidewalk because they make the sidewalk area narrower, but bump out, they don't have that concern.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
But the bump outs on all the pictures are solid,
Solid so
right?
far.
There's a
Yeah.
space between the bump out and the sidewalk because that lets water flow through,
Yes.
right? So the bump outs away from the side, from the curb,
Correct,
but solid right now.
correct,
So it wouldn't be planting in dirt.
right.
Could we ask for open ones that we could?
Yeah, they gave us that option,
Okay.
and so we can do that. It depends on also the maintenance, so they don't want to
Thank
be
you.
responsible for the
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, to plant into the ground means more staff
Oh, yeah.
time
Oh, yeah.
maintaining it, and the planners, you can always go back and do that in subsequent years too.
We can
As the
absolutely-
funds
as
come
some
back,
budgets,
it
yeah.
replete, yes.
So you leave them solid until you decide to put something on.
And-
Yeah, I just didn't know, I noticed these at the city hall. These at the city hall over in Glendale, those kind of concrete planters. Where they have those big urns that they put.
So we can add those later as our
Yeah,
budget.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The only thing is, I was trying to wedge everything humanly possible into this while have excitement around it, and then after it dies off, I just am like, no one wants to do anything anymore, they've moved on.
the in-ground plantings, I know there are maintenance concerns, but that
Makes
would be a
sense.
project decision. Because, you know, those areas then would be prepared for that, but outside of that, everything can be added later on.
They're really cool. I've seen them all over the city. They're putting them in to slow traffic down on the bump outs and
Yeah.
down now,
The city of St. Louis, so it's,
all over.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's beyond the curb, so they're not gonna worry about crashworthiness or anything like that, and so, don't want to add too much, to that area, just in case there are accidents, incidents, they are hit, broken, we need to fix them later.
This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, well, so we are at this stage now. We can continue pursuing this as I think our commission makes that decision, and then it go to, I believe it can go to the council with the city manager's approval, Mayor Arnold. What I'm trying to figure out is, would we come back to the commission for one more look at the agreement, what it entails, and such, and then go to council from there for the approval?
So I think that's up to the commission. You all can go, if you feel comfortable with what you've heard today, I think you can empower
Yes.
Sanan to finalize the agreement and then send it on to council. And then I can't promise it, but I think probably this is the kind of thing that can go in our consent agenda, so it won't take long to get on the agenda itself.
Yes, I think we would like to do.
I
it.
think so.
Everybody agree?
Yeah, second rate.
So I would suggest you have a vote that says you are willing to send this on with the agreement that Sanan as Director of Public Works will finalize the agreement with CDG.
So I would like to propose that we allow Sanan to finalize the agreement with CDG and send that forward to council for approval. All those in favor? You need a second. Oh,
Second.
sorry. All those in. I need a third?
No, you guys did it.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said third too.
Like, what did that come into play? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, let's do it.
Thank you for all the hard work on that. Appreciate it.
Especially since you just dropped into the position.
Yeah. Sideways.
That we've known about for 20 years.
So now we'll move on to the Alma parking lot lighting update for the landscape lighting and overhead.
So the Alma parking lot is, it's, the bollard lights is fixed.
Yay.
It's remounted, light is fixed, but, there is a, concern
Not
about.
what you and I are gonna trade so that you can access. No, you don't leave all that there. I'm just gonna move.
Thank you, ma'am.
Why don't you go to the head of the table?
Yeah.
I used to be in there.
That's your usual spot.
So this is a lot, this is the light distribution. So we for a 20-foot tall overhead lights, we still cannot, with that, we still cannot light the lot completely. We would need two luminaires probably across from each other. And so this is the extent of the light distribution. And I was thinking about something from here, shine this way, but that's not, the luminaire types are not available for it, at least with this Lighting Associates. You may be familiar with them. They're in Brentwood, on Brentwood in
Yeah.
Webster Groves. So that's the gentleman that gave me this from that company. So we can always have two 20-foot lights and light the entire parking lot. Make it timer control, even motion detection.
Well, that'd be better.
And so it only, maybe after a certain time, it's motion detection. And but we need to be particular about, I believe, the neighbor
Yes.
here. And so we can do it. As you see, there's no backlighting here. The same can be here, the same way. And so we won't shine any light this way. And but it will take two poles, and the related expenditures for it. So, maybe we will still have a dark spot here. I don't know if that would be ideal. That's where the dumpster is.
Maybe
And
be more staggered and
staggered, yeah,
Yeah.
actually, maybe one way to do it. Yep.
Is it, I can't tell from that. I mean, do we have, with two lights, do we have 95% of it lit up? I mean, 5%'s fine then, right? I mean, is there a requirement, a legal requirement? We have to have 100% or
I
something?
don't have anything.
I got 0% now, so.
Yeah, I didn't know, like, if we
Super
were
low.
proactively doing it, we have to do it a certain way.
Yeah, I think there's a foot candle, at least an advice, what we would have as a minimum in a commercial parking lot. We can look at that. I don't have the photometrics yet, but we can look at it, make sure that we meet that still. Since we're already investing into this and making an improvement there, we might be able to still accomplish lighting every part of the lot as meeting that minimum.
Yeah.
If we are installing two poles.
Do you have any ballpark on what it costs? Do they give you any estimate?
They haven't, no. But
And is that a city cost or a district cost or?
this is a public parking lot, so it's not budgeted,
Okay.
but we can propose it as a project to be funded.
I know I'm getting way off base. There isn't any light that they make right there that matches all the new lighting we're putting in that could go in there to kind of complement the lighting we already do.
So this fixture actually, he gave this to me. This is another type. I think this one would not meet that type of distribution. This is actually a different type with the
Okay,
dark sky parking lot type. I think he chose it for that purpose.
it's fine.
But there will be other options, and so we don't have to go with this. It's just, I think he was looking for the best distribution for me, because I asked him to do this with one pole, and he said, hey, it's not just possible. So it's just, I think the way that we cannot distribute it far enough from this side all the way out, and that's why we need to go with two.
This is probably a much better option because it keeps it out of our neighbors'
Right.
comments and all.
More down than out.
Yeah,
If we had to do it with just one, I would suggest we do it in the back of the parking lot. That, because the front has some light from back of the buildings.
Right.
But the back, that parking lot is just dark.
yeah,
Back by the dumpster.
yeah, it's not welcoming.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
don't
so
leave my car.
in that case, probably the distribution will be a little bit different. It's not gonna be wide if it's from here.
Yeah,
And so we can look for another luminaire for that, but then it will be limited to this area or something probably. And then, there will be some residual light here.
Yeah. It's just that back part is dark.
It is, right.
Yeah.
Right. And the grade goes down there as well, I noticed, and so we need to find a place where we can install this with the minimum height of pole. So, But
Keep the neighbors happy, because that's gonna be your biggest.
that guy sits on his patio every night and he's not gonna want to have that coming in. I wouldn't want it either.
we'll probably go with a shorter pole there due to the tree canopy also. And so look for a distribution for that. I think they have some other distributions that they sent me. But we can certainly, these are the,
Just being stupid for 1 second. What if both lights were on here, they're tilted up a little bit and it lit everything from this side? Because these houses are closer. This is a dead zone right here. There's
Right.
nothing here at all.
But the
And you light,
two-story apartments.
they don't really, there's like stuff in between and a gap. And it seems like the light would dissipate before it hit that.
This is a higher grade.
Yeah, it's a higher grade, so it kind of like goes into the ground. This neighborhood is at grade level and this guy sits
Yeah.
literally right
Right.
here.
Right.
So if we push the light this way, it's less problematic for the people who live there. Is that a possibility?
from this corner out.
No, we just kind of put them right
Right
here
here.
and they kind of,
Shining
they
that way.
shine and then they kind of stop right in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
See this
instead of-
illumination pattern? See this illumination pattern, see?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
So it should work.
Yeah, if we could just if we're gonna do two, do them here, so the back's lit up, the front's lit up, and we're not lighting up the
right
house.
here and here, and then they goes to here.
Yep.
Well, that would minimize the install cost too, because you're just.
Because they're
running
right next to
power
each other,
on
one run. Yeah, and then it'll just die when it hits the fence and the grade and all that right here.
One thing they will say is, hey, you're shining light, and although
I
we're
don't
not.
think so because
When you
it's
look at it, yeah.
it's down at an angle. I think, because I've been on that lot recently, just back there, that the
Yeah.
elevation is up, and if we're shooting down
Works
in the
our
parking lot, I
favor.
think
Right.
Yeah.
it'll die before it hits the.
Towards the bollards
Yeah.
at the fence.
And the
Yeah.
windows are up higher, so you've still got more room even after the elevation.
That's a good solution. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I'll
that would be
explore.
great.
Yep. Will do.
I don't like all this health. I don't like all this happiness. I'm not used to it. And I don't like you agreeing to things. I want,
No, it's a great solution. We're actually brainstorming together, so.
why are you making this nice?
Come on now. Okay, so for rooftop lighting estimate, I'm still working with Dan and Show Me Lighting to get all those together, so hopefully we'll have them by next time. For you, as soon as I have them, I will get them to you. And then we'll move on to commission vacancy. We have one vacancy. Does anybody have any ideas who they want to reach out to for that?
Reach out to Ann again,
Okay.
and just see.
I mean, I talk to her all the time too, and yeah.
I'll ask her because this is really gonna affect her,
Right.
and I think it would be
Yeah.
nice to have the art of entertaining involved in this, just so she can see at least what's happening, and it's an excuse to get her back on the board.
Where's the lock lady? You just pulled up
She's out
there?
of town today.
Okay.
Jeff, were you successful with reaching out to Schnucks?
Notes, yeah. Anything from them?
I haven't gone back to anything until we kind of decided which way we were heading, but. The initial conversations were they're gonna push back for anything that creates more tax on them.
Oh, and that's for the CID, right?
Right. But the caveat to that is that there has to be something for them out of this, so.
So looking,
Maybe the cool lighting.
yeah,
would
but we
help,
gotta keep go down that way now,
Softening the entrance.
because right now they're cut off.
They're
So
just,
that's by far not in the bag. I mean,
yeah.
it would be a long conversation.
Really quick, is there a legal requirement for the amount of people on a board? Because if you own 3 buildings and I own 3 buildings and your tenants don't want to join and you've got a big, and all of a sudden we don't have enough owners, even if
Yeah.
every single person showed up.
So the size of this board is defined in our ordinances, and this board is a creation of state law. So I'd have to check to see whether the state law demands how big we make it through the ordinances. If it's just about the ordinance, we as a city could adjust that, but we have to be in compliance with the state law under the business district structure. So I can find that out.
That would be great. And then if we have to, can we bring in another resident? Or does it have to be a business?
Again, let me check what the state law is about how you comprise this
Okay.
board, and once we have what those parameters are, it is possible to adjust.
So I
our-
could convince this person to join the
Yeah,
thing here. It's gonna affecting them, but I'm good friends with them. And they would
Yeah.
probably be interested in knowing what's going on, but I don't know if that's allowed.
and
What are we, 7 or 9? What is our one?
Seven.
Seven currently.
And I'm
Well,
supposed to be neighborhood representative.
There is no neighborhood representative.
Anyway, okay.
It's property owners and building.
Yeah, if it's anybody in here, it needs to be somebody else in this stretch with us.
But the problem is, none of your people are gonna.
No,
want to do it.
those are tenants. So
Yeah,
They don't
so-
count to me.
So 1,
Emery,
2, 3, 4,
Union Bagel.
5.
Sylvie D's owns their building. I
Right.
could talk to.
Those are the
Rachel.
kind of-
Yeah,
See if the-
Rachel would be great.
Jay too.
Yeah, Jay's just flying a lot. I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was inconvenient for him.
so the other thing, and this may be tenuous to this discussion, especially since you all are making so much progress here, but maybe, you know, the confidence level and so on is such. You are not required to meet monthly. You can meet quarterly. And if you think meeting quarterly might make it easier to get somebody on, then you can consider that as well.
No, I don't think the monthly, I love the
Yeah.
updates. I
Okay,
love
that's,
just,
that's
Have every
fine.
monthly.
yeah, but thank you.
Yeah. So I'll do some investigation about the composition of this board. And you know, one of the things we're having a similar, believe it or not, problem in Old Orchard, even though their numbers are bigger in terms of that, in part because they also have a trade association, they're standing up, and so they're competing demands. And we're thinking about adjusting their boundaries. So let me see what we can do we can do it at the same time is what I'm saying. Maybe make it easier for you to fill this commission.
So you said it was property owners and property managers. Can I deputize one of my employees to be a property manager and bring them into the meeting? Because there is one person who manages all three of the properties for me.
I don't think there's any restriction. So council still has to confirm the appointment.
Yeah,
And I think council would need an argument, which can be made, why two people from the same organization are on.
I'm not asking for it. I would do it only to fulfill.
Right, to make sure you have
requirements so that we
that
can get stuff
consistently have
done.
a quorum. Yeah.
Yeah,
What about Christie from architecture?
Yeah.
Did she ever?
She was on the board, but got super busy.
yeah. So I guess when
Even if we could get her, but she has a big investment there
the
too.
only downside is if we have to make a vote. You know what I mean? If we don't.
She can dial it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Ann could dial in. I'm gonna put a full court press on Ann. I have an employee who runs all the stuff that I could deputize to bring in if we need to hit a number.
I'll also reach out to Rachel and Jay.
Rachel J would be good. Thank you. And I don't think the person in the old Schwinn, the acupuncturist,
Okay.
has,
I've talked to her and she's uninterested.
I don't think she has any interest at all.
No.
I don't know about the other two businesses that wrap in that little
Yeah, how
corner
about the new real estate or?
1035 exchange.
Those people are tenants, they don't own the building.
Yeah, they
so
don't building.
Oh,
to me, there's really no value there. I mean,
Right.
they don't have a vested interest. The dentist, Wilmar's does.
yeah,
I can talk to her.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know them at all. So that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, because this
We're
could
gonna
really
have to
affect a
talk to
little bit on the corner of their parking lot where the
Really?
light goes.
Haley,
Yeah, I'll talk to Gilly. I know.
I don't know how her dad's health is, Mike, maybe. you could
The people who bought the yellow house, at behind the parking lot here, where about where Works is, where Works is. They own a house at the end of Alma and Jackson. And they bought the yellow house for a rental property, so I could ask her if she's interested.
Which yellow house?
The one right at the parking lot.
The one on the stone.
It's not in the district.
Yeah, it's not in the,
Oh,
it's
you
not,
know,
yeah, it's not in the district.
well, my house isn't in the district, then. But,
You're with business.
but I'm not an owner.
I know, but you're an operations person.
He said, why was mom in it then?
Okay.
All the way on Jackson,
That was a long time ago.
when they did have a neighbor.
Okay, so we'll go on to new business.
I have a couple things, the streetlights that are currently there, I know we're getting rid of them in 2027, 2030, whatever. There's one at the very corner and it's very dim, looks like it's going out. The one next to it is out completely. I don't know.
The Ameren lights on the
Yeah,
street?
the
Okay.
lights.
Good contact anyone.
Okay. It's the one by Bagel Union and then the one next to
Yeah.
that coming in.
On your side,
Yeah. And then the Republic recycle dumpster, I think that was supposed to be taken away last
Yeah.
month. It's still there.
Okay, I'll contact them. Yeah, to take it away.
Yeah.
Because the waste management service has begun.
Yes.
And who's paying for that on the public lot? The,
I'm paying for that.
you're covering that?
Yeah.
Is that with waste management then?
It's with Waste Connections.
Or waste connections?
Yeah.
Are you co-oping that with some others?
Yeah, so my tenants will pay a portion, Rachel and Jay are paying a portion.
Got it. So you guys have it filled and covered and.
I asked all the
Yeah,
businesses
we
if they
could-
want to be involved in it, and
And the other
Some
one
are,
is just architectures on the backside.
she has her own dumpster.
Yeah.
I wish we could clean up that crap that came off that parking lot when they pushed the snow. They pushed all the tar, whatever it is, the asphalt. They broke it all up. And now
On
it's
Christian's
all-
parking lot,
Yeah.
she said she's resurfacing it. I guess she's got bid for it. She's been,
Okay, because they pushed it up against the curb in front of the Alma lot.
yeah,
And so I've swept that. I mean, I walk on those sidewalks.
yeah.
It's muddy, it's sticky, it gets in your shoes, you bring it in the
Yeah.
house. So I've swept that a couple
Yeah.
times, and of course, every time it rains, it brings one down.
She told me she's getting ready to have it done.
Good.
That'd be
good,
nice, so.
Good, thank you.
We're still on new business.
Yep.
So I just got wind of the mural that's going on the side of Betty's Books. I don't know how that gets approved without any kind of input from the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, Jeff, I couldn't,
I didn't.
what is it that's
How
going
the
in?
mural that's going on the side of Betty's Books. I don't know how did that get approved without getting some input from the district?
I think it goes in front of the,
Architectural Review Board?
I'm sure.
For a mural, I don't know, but I'll find out.
So Amy's Cake Pop Shop tried to have a mural. My wife was gonna paint it and they got denied. Which surprises me, being this city of arts, why we wouldn't allow something like, as long as it's tasteful. But
But it
I-
just needs to kind of be either we do it or we don't do it.
right. That's a lot.
Oh, it's on the front and the side?
But it's right also in Heidi's, right facing her front door and.
I mean, this is great somewhere else, but not a. I mean,
Seen it.
It doesn't really go with ocean. It looks like Tower of Love kind
it
of what
looks
they've
like,
done on this.
yeah, something. that
It's her
you-
brand is what that is. That is her brand, that is her, that little cat, whatever.
But then when it falls
I'm just
underneath,
saying that's what
it's
it
the
is.
signage usage. You know, how big can your brand be?
I
on-
think that's why the Amy's Cake Pop was denied, because the size of it.
Yep.
But if it's a white brick.
I tried to put signs in the grass on both sides of our building that were just this
Yeah.
big by this big, and the city wouldn't let me do it.
We had to
So that we could,
trunk down our signs too, to hit
So,
them based
I
on.
mean, come on, we're not gonna allow this. And if it needs to be a lawsuit to stop it, then we're gonna stop
Is
it.
he?
I'm stopping it.
I see it. See it up close.
How did you, can I just ask how you got a copy of it? Like is this for sure?
It's just a photo.
Social media. I think.
Oh, okay. I was like, has this been approved or is this just an idea?
Well, that was the first thing I asked Heidi this morning, when she said so. That's why the lifts are sitting out on the parking lot behind the building. So this is,
So she hasn't done it yet. This is the proposed.
No, she said on social media, she said the mural's been approved.
She's usually at these meetings, right?
Huh?
She's on this board now?
no,
No, she's on the VDC.
Oh, okay. I thought she joined this commission too. And don't we also have? Who joined from the hair care place at Wickman's? Or
Yeah,
what?
that's
Is
okay.
she supposed to be here too?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's out of town.
Okay, so
we'll be looking for some kind of feedback on
but
that.
the problem is she moves really, really fast. I mean, she was ready to jackhammer out. You know, Heidi's.
Yeah,
lantern.
she tried to pull out the blue head and I was like, oh. I'll inquire right after this meeting.
Yeah, whatever the ruling is fine, but it just, you know, it needs to go through something.
Well, okay, so I don't know if you knew this, but there was a plat map that was,
Yep, it was 5 foot off.
okay, and it pushed everybody.
I remember that she had the wrong version, you had the.
Oh, we
right
got it corrected. So in the state of Missouri, the surveyor is not required to file that correction with the county. Missouri is one of the few states where the surveyor is not required to do that. So I have filed the correction with the county. Once the plat map is corrected, I'll get the city a copy.
Yeah.
And Jeff a copy and me a copy, and I'll give Betty a copy. She's aware of it too, so it's all good. It was just an error.
Oh, I
How it
know.
occurred, I have no idea.
I
I was
know.
like, wait, I bought a vacant, my parents bought a vacant lot between two existing buildings. I cannot own, like the mayor came out, I was like, I can't own 4.5 feet of this lady's building here, you
Right.
know? It was just a weird.
Yeah, no, and I know that. I just
Okay.
meant she moves quick. Like she's ready to tear things out the next day. And you
I
know,
know,
you're like,
she came into my office and she's like, I have problems, you know, we put a chain around this, pulling this head out, and I was like, I was like, yeah, don't do that. So, but it's, those lines are all resolved now.
Right. okay, so we'll
But they do have these lifts to paint this mural, but neither one of them will fit in the walkway. If you look at these lifts.
they'll go out in the street probably and it'll go
Right.
over. Before it, like, how do we, because we don't meet for another month. How do we get an update? Is there an email group, a chat group? Is there something we should all join just so that we can at least?
Well, Franken has us as a group.
Okay,
And we really do have to communicate that way because
Yeah.
it's all,
I'm
It's the only
perfectly,
legit way to
I'm
sunshine
laws.
perfectly fine with that. I just want to make sure that we.
Somebody feed it to Fran whenever you get a result and she can disseminate it from there.
Thank
And
you.
then we'll decide where we go from that point. It just is not conducive to the neighborhood.
I would
Not-
like to
not
see,
with
if
everything else we're trying to do.
I would like to see a big mural on the Union Bagels. wall. Facing Elm. Something inviting to the,
I want a
Crossroads.
renovation of the train station. Did we get everything we want?
I was-
seems like you got a lot today, so.
I know.
This
I mean-
takes over the train station.
Do we?
Oh, please don't make me deal with the trains.
Where do we keep
No,
pushing?
there's no trains in there.
No, I know, but the railroad still owns it. So,
Oh, it'd be such a cool restaurant.
I know.
All right, BDC update. We don't have anybody here for you, so.
The next copy,
It's a while.
did you all get
Yeah.
the newsletter that went
Yeah,
out this
newsletter.
week?
read it.
Next
got-
coffee's not till September. I think we heard last night the 14th is the next.
Is the next happy
Happy
hour, which
Of
those are
August.
both in the August, in the newsletter. That they're gonna be sending out monthly.
Okay.
Read your newsletter. That's your update.
So my only question to you all is if you have other members of businesses that are not getting that, that means I don't have their email, which quite often,
Right. you don't
there's
have-
multiple people in a business that want it, but we only have one email for the business. If you let me know, I can add it to that list.
Okay, and city update? I don't really care about the city, I just wanted to know. I was joking.
Just two quick things. We are, public hearing for the budget is our first meeting in June. My expectation is everything that you put in your work plan and your budget will get approved. There have not been any amendments or consideration of changing that. And the second thing is the water park. Unless we have a change in weather, these last couple days of the week is opening this weekend.
It's opening?
It's going
It
to be,
is.
yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sunday.
And you're gonna do the stand-up slide? And we're gonna film it?
Oh,
We're not gonna film it. if I
yeah,
do it.
we're gonna film
It's
that.
supposed to be the ribbon cutting. There's you coming down.
Yes, moving the ribbon cutting.
Thank goodness that there's no one here who's planning the ribbon cutting.
Enter now.
So Sunday is the soft opening for pass holders, and then Monday we will do a ribbon cutting at noon, just a little before noon, and it'll be open to the public.
I thought there's no way in hell that's opening this summer.
So I have to say that Scott Davis, who is our deputy city manager for something that I can't remember, fill in the blank, has done incredible work. I said yesterday to him, I said, I hear I need to give you a medal. And he said, well, if you get a medal for yelling at contractors, then I deserve a medal. But so he's worked just really hard to keep things going and keep moving because the weather's been horrible, as you all know.
You don't.
So, yeah,
It's
so
been
it is-
You can't pour concrete.
you know, you can chalk this up to a minor miracle, or really it's just a lot of hard work that our staff has done with
Wow.
contractors to get it done.
That's amazing.
That's really cool. Congratulations.
Good for him, good for the
Yeah,
city.
yeah. It's awesome.
I made a donation to the pool fund.
The swim
The
pass,
swim passes,
Good.
yeah.
yeah.
You grew up at what
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
That was
Yeah,
a pitch.
absolutely.
Seems like everything's coming together.
I know, right?
One other last question really fast as we're going. Eric had brought up putting electric charging stations at one time. I don't ever know where that went, and I don't care one way or the other. I just didn't know if that was still on the table. They were talking about, and the city would make the money from it.
So I believe, and Sanan may know, and this may predate Sanan, we applied for a very large
From
grant. And ours was a federal grant, I believe, and did not get that grant.
Okay.
And so we're back and regrouping. I think eventually the plan is still in all the public parking lots to try and install those, but the timeline is just incredibly uncertain given the grant didn't come through.
Only reason why I asked is if you're digging up the ground and running
Yeah.
wire and you gotta put high voltage stuff in, do you just do it while we got the sidewalks and everything up and get the higher voltage wiring?
Or at least,
Conduit
at least the two lights on the Elma lot, that would be one of the spots where you could put.
Or if Elma over there, yeah. I was just thinking,
Yeah.
like, oh, we have
I
everything
mean,
open,
yeah,
exposed,
absolutely.
even if we don't put them in yet,
That makes sense. Yeah,
just a thought.
something to
Put
consider.
that in your proposal.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heidi, for derailing.
No, you're good. All right. So our next meeting is set for June 25th. Everybody good with that?
Uh-huh.
Is there a city update of anything else that we need?
Any
No,
other?
I was trying to be brief.
There's no other businesses opening that you know of in Old Orchard or Lockwood or anything?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, there are a couple of things in the works that I don't think are announceable yet, but there's some good things happening in terms of some business buying buildings and thinking about new ways of using space that are good for all of us, I think.
And don't forget facade grants.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good question. I mean, since I have the two buildings that both need
thank you.
a facade update, I just do one and split, do 1,000 on each one.
The two
You can
separate.
apply twice. You have to apply twice.
Yeah.
Each building.
Okay, I just know.
$2,000, if you got it for one and you gave money or the other one.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're splitting it up by year too.
Yeah, by year.
Yeah, we have so many per year.
Do
One
one,
next year.
so I could just do one split.
All right. May I get a motion to adjourn?
Here's the motion.
May I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
All those opposed say nay. All right,